I love cartoons, and I think they serve as prime entertainment for people of all ages. But one thing they don't have is logic. So today we're looking at some of the craziest, most ridiculous examples of cartoon logic. So let's do this. The three little pigs have their father hanging on the wall. It's kind of morbid. But it's not the craziest thing. Like, if you think about humans, we always have portraits of deceased relatives on the wall. So just because he was turned into a pork sausage that will now be eaten at a German restaurant doesn't mean you still can't memorialize him. It's not the worst logic out there. Next up, we have earphones logic. Explain this. And it's Arthur who's not wearing headphones correctly. What's being overlooked here is that aardvarks have anatomy that none of us are probably aware of. So, similarly to how some insects taste things through their feet, he could be hearing things through these little holes that are on the side of his head. And then the ears are just up top to throw you off. No, honestly, this one's dumb. All right, time for the Flintstones. Celebrated Christmas before the birth of Christ. When does the Flintstones take place? But Christmas is a secular holiday. It doesn't have to be religious necessarily, so maybe they were just celebrating it at face value. I don't know. Also, Barney's wife is kind of hot. All right, says you are the love of his life, forgets what you look like, and has to put a shoe on every girl in the kingdom. I think what's even worse in terms of Cinderella's logic is that nobody in the entire kingdom has the same size shoe as Cinderella. Both are dogs, one is a pet, and the other one is the owner. That's okay. I mean, humans own other humans. Not like that. I'm saying, like, if you have a kid, you ever see those parents who put their kids on leashes? Not that uncommon. Also, sometimes dogs carry their puppies by the back of their neck. They like bite it and then they drag them across the floor. I don't know, animals do crazy things. They can't get out, and it looks like the Smurfs who could clearly get out. But the bigger question is, why are they in there? I think because there's a massive conspiracy around Smurfs that they're racist. So it could be that. Maybe they were locked up on the grounds of hate crimes or something. Okay, next up is Minnie and Pluto, and it says, eek a mouse, because Minnie is a mouse. But Minnie is a fully functional personified mouse, whereas that mouse is clearly just up to no good. What kind of science is this? And then you have Bubbles, I think, and she's using chopsticks without fingers. I don't really have a good defense for this, except maybe she has glue on both sides of her hand to support the chopsticks, but if not that, then I don't know. Want to make it obvious that two characters are married? Make them look like brother and sister. This is something I've always noticed across cartoons, because these people look exactly like each other, especially Mort and his wife. Okay, this is what I was saying before. Nobody in the whole kingdom has the same shoe size. Seriously? I know. Finds a random corpse in the woods, kisses it. All right, so he's clearly got a little bit of necrophilia. I don't think you could make this movie nowadays. Same thing with Rapunzel, because you're locking somebody in a tower. Same thing with Sleeping Beauty, because isn't it like the same thing? And then also Beauty and the Beast, which is literally like bestiality. I still love the movies though. So did they have hair or not? So it's Bart and Lisa Simpson. I guess that answers it for us. I guess they never had hair and that was just the structure of their skull. What doesn't make sense though is that the hair, at least on Lisa, I'm pretty sure, is a different color than her skin. Learns English from English girl, has American accent. I don't think that's the biggest suspension of disbelief needed in Tarzan. However, it's a really good point. Why does he speak English? Well, to be fair, where does the movie take place? Okay, so I just looked it up and it takes place in equatorial Africa. So there's really no excuse that he has an American accent. Rip logic, ducks eating chicken. Sometimes you gotta eat your own kind. No, definitely don't do that. But you definitely do eat other species, right? We eat cows, chickens, pigs, etc. So I'm on team duck here. SpongeBob physics, blowing a bubble despite the fact that he has a glass around his head. Mickey L says it's some quantum effect, which could be the case because it takes place in Sandy's treehouse, which is like a hub for science. Disney, teaching you not to talk to strangers unless they're hot. Yeah, hot people get away with a lot more than ugly people. How did his parents not know about the secret lab? That electric bill must have been higher than Wiz Khalifa. So my theory about this is that they know what's happening in the basement. They don't know that's a full-fledged laboratory, but they know that he's up to something, that he's like playing video games or whatever he says that he's doing, and they just justify, I don't know, that would be an insane electric bill. Okay, stump me here. A sponge washing dishes. Well, yeah, he's an animated sponge, so he's not gonna use himself. Let's be real here. That would be incredibly degrading to the kids watching if you teach a lesson that you have to use your body to do things. If Beauty and the Beast teaches us one thing, it's that looks don't matter, as long as you keep her locked up long enough. I don't endorse that. Father wields a mighty trident, amazed by a fork. Sometimes the micro world is more impressive than the macro world. I think it's a better mark of artsmanship that they made something tiny versus something large, because it requires more precision. Does that make sense? If the slipper was a perfect fit, How did it slip off? I've always asked this question. Cinderella is ridden with all these logical fallacies. Can build an advanced laboratory equipped with time machines and lasers, can't build a security system to keep his sister out of it. Just classic sibling stuff, I don't know. Find abandoned cottage, clean it. She's a do-weller. There's nothing wrong with that. We need some people in this world like that. She's like Mr. Beast. She goes on the beach, cleans up like 20 million tons of garbage. Good on you, Snow White. Is naked all day, but afraid to be seen while taking a bath. Nobody wants to be spied on in the bathroom no matter what you're doing. I don't think I've ever told this story before, but I'll say it now. I was staying at an Airbnb in Virginia about 4 years ago with my friend. We were at Super Smash Con, which is like a Smash Bros event. And toward the end of our stay, we noticed that the surge protector that goes over the outlet had a camera in it. And it was in the bathroom and in the bedroom, and it was facing the toilet and the shower because they were kind of like next to each other. And then we took it out, and then we popped it out, and there was like a little USB chip. So there was like a recording mechanism going on. Long story short, we reached out to Airbnb. We got comp for everything. That person had to delist their property off of the Airbnb platform. We were considering legal action, but we were just happy to get the place for free. But that's all to say, you have to enjoy your bath time alone. Trying to steal a useless Pikachu for 10 years. Don't call him useless. Don't give an F about the only talking Pokemon in the world. That's true, they possess such an asset in Meowth, but he's also not the only one that talks, because Ditto, in theory, could just copy Meowth and then talk. Unless I just don't know Pokemon and that's not the case. Let's rock, paper, scissors for it. Scissors beat paper. And it's everybody just putting out their nub. Virgil points out that that was the joke. Yeah, you can't take this too literally sometimes. How does his glasses stay on without nose or ear support? Maybe they're goggles, because we've never seen the back of Arthur's head. What are SpongeBob's sleeves attached to? I would say he uses bobby pins to maybe keep them in place, but a very good question, because when you see his suit on the rack, it doesn't include the sleeves, which means he puts the sleeves on separately, but where? I don't know, maybe they're wedged into one of the sponge holes, maybe he likes that. Has met Jesus multiple times, still an atheist. I think that's the irony of Brian, because Brian thinks he's smarter than he actually is, and despite having empirical evidence presented in front of him, he still defaults to his secular worldview, which is clearly incorrect, per the show. Never wears a t-shirt, always has a tan line. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe he has a medical condition like alopecia or albinoism, or what's the one where people's skin is like different colors? It starts with a V, and I'm not gonna think of it because I'm on the spot right now. I think it's called vitiligo or something, if I had to take a guess. But yeah, the point stands. Can lift a rhino, but not a lion cub. I've never seen Lion King, but that seems pretty dumb. Kidnapped by monster, befriend his furniture. Well, have you ever stopped to think that the furniture is a direct representation of Belle? Them too are servants who were locked up in a castle against their will under the spell, and so they could empathize with her. How the hell is Zubat holding Squirtle? Okay, that's funny. Anime logic, yelling makes you stronger. This is true. We know this to be true. There's actually a lot of evidence around this too. Like if you stub your toe and you start cursing, then you feel less pain, and therefore you're stronger. Can survive at the bottom of the ocean without air. Drowns. Yeah, Pinocchio, I don't think you have lungs to begin with, so if anything, the logic should hold up on the left side. So this inconsistency doesn't really make sense. All holes are portable. Not every hole. Powers can't pass through gloves, can pass through shoes easily. So I'm guessing this is Frozen, right? And that's Elsa. McLeo sums it up. At the time she got the gloves, her powers were too weak. Very true, McLeo. Disney logic, a mouse walking a dog. Well, we already addressed this before. If Goofy can walk Pluto, then why can't Mickey? Different species, right? If anything, this makes more sense. Clothes change back to rags at midnight. Glass slippers stay the same. It's almost as if the glass slippers are special. Crazy stepmother wants her heart in a box. What do you do when things go wrong? Oh, of course, sing a song. Sometimes when you're stressed out, you just gotta belt it out and go into a musical number. No, I'm not about to sing. Wait a moment. Why didn't they say wait a minute? How's he holding the cigar? It's between his fingers. Unless they mean, why isn't it in his mouth? It's in his nose, which means he's snorting it, which means there's probably something else in that cigar. Questions if it's safe to ride. Has a tiger for a pet? Well, one is a pet and one is a flying carpet. I would say there's levels to this, and I think a flying carpet is actually a lot scarier than a pet that you grew up with that you could theoretically beat in a fight. But no, you can't beat in a fight? falling 2,000 feet in the air off a magic carpet. With the stranger. Goes to outer space with no helmet whatsoever, lives to tell the story. I have no explanation for this one. This one gets me. Maybe he ate something like that chewy candy. Maybe it was like this oxygen thing that he could use. Why am I swimming alone? I'm like 5. Just bad parenting. Didn't her parents die too? So she lives with her sister, who was probably at work when she did this. I don't know the exact lore, but she's safe. Look, she's with a turtle, a fish. Oh, there's a shark. Okay, never mind. Most powerful Pokemon in the world, punches it. The Pokemon ones are funny. Anime logic is actually pretty hilarious. I mean, Mewtwo still has a body, so it's not like he's completely unaffected by the punch, unless he was. Actually, thinking about it now, I think he was. Has anyone noticed this guy's mustache is in the wrong place? Maybe it's not a mustache. Maybe it's just upper lip hair. Is that Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, without his hat? Okay, sure, Rick, and he's putting a fire extinguisher in his jacket. We've all been to the movies, snuck in candy. Sometimes you'd be amazed with what you can get away with. Shadow disattaches, uses soap. It's just one of those 5-minute craft life hacks. And then the final one's from The Lion King, largest predator eats bugs. He's a baby, let him go. People are too strict sometimes. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Watch this video, and I will see you next time. Peace.